Hi there, welcome to Conley's Cool ESL. Today we are going to learn how to make questions in the present tense. In English, we make questions with the help of the verb do. You might also see the word does. They mean the same thing. It just matters what the subject is. I, you, he, she, it, we, or they change how we might use do or does. So let me show you a few examples of how it works. Let's get started. I have a picture right here. It's not too perfect, but it says, do you play the guitar? And there's a guitar sitting here. They're at dinner. I wonder if she plays guitar. Anyway, this is how you set up the question. You see do and play the guitar. And in here is you. These don't really change too much, as you can see. Let's find out how to make these, though, with different subjects, shall we? A little bit of review. The sentence form looks like this. I work, we work, you work, they work. Or it could be like, do, have. Over here we have he, she, it, works, likes, does, has. So, how do we make that a question? Well, we need a little verb that kind of helps us out a little bit. I'm gonna call this help, because that's the only way we can make these. And to do that, for questions in the present tense, just now, when we're talking about now, instead of saying I work, we need a helping verb of the do. So for I, we, you, and they, we write do. Do I work? Do we work? Do you work? Do they work? Or do I like? Do we like? Do you like? Do you do? Do we do? Do they do? Do they have? Blah, 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 blah. You get the picture. Let's do the next part. Blank, he, she, it, work, like, do, have. Now, what is, in a sentence form, do for he, she, and it? He blank. What do you think that is? Well, I hope you're writing or thinking does. So does he work? Does she work? Does it have? Does she like? Blah, blah, blah. There you go. So it's only do and does you need to worry about. And as you can see over here, the verb doesn't change over here. All right? The only thing that changes are these two, do or does, and that depends on the subject. Let's check out some examples below. So let's do some examples here together. Change the sentence to a question. They like music. Let's look at the subject here. They. Is they do or they does? I hope you're thinking do. And now remember, we need to flip. And I'm going to write this down here as a little note here. Flip. So we're going to flip. So you're thinking they do, they does as a sentence. You're going to flip it. So here we have do they like music? Question mark. Good. Do they like music? Here I flipped do and they to make it a question. Do they like music? Next one. My parents speak English. For this one, we'll do your instead of my. So, first things first, for parents, is it do or does? Is it one parent or two parents? You should be thinking two parents, and is that a I, you, he, she, it, we, or they? You should be thinking they. So is it do they or does they? Just like the last example, you should be thinking do. So it's do your parents
speak English as my English goes right off the page here. So, next, let's do the next one, shall we? So as you can see though, hold on, with the last one, do your parents. I flipped parents and do, flipped it over. Parents means they, do, not does. Next one, we have Gary works hard. Let's make that a question now. What's the first word you put down, do or does, for Gary? Is it an I, you, he, she, or it? You should be thinking Gary is probably a he, she, or it if your culture doesn't know what Gary is. So Gary is a guy. It's a he. It's a man. So in this case, here we have is it do or does? I hope you're thinking does because that's the correct answer. So does Gary work hard? With a question mark. Now, as you can see over here, you see how it says Gary works with an S? When it comes over here, no S anymore. No. We already have the S over here. We don't need that. Don't need any of that. Just does Gary work hard? Period. Question mark. So, don't do it twice. We only need to change that first verb. Let's do the next one now. Your sister lives in Boston. Let's make that a question. We'll use my this time. Or, no, we'll use your. So, is sister, I, you, he, she, it, we, or they? You should be thinking she. So, is it do she or does she? You should be thinking does. So, does she? And the verb is live or lives? I hope you're thinking live. In Boston? Question mark. Boston. Next part. So the correct for the previous one, your sister lives in Boston. She live in Boston? I even screwed that up. Should be does your sister. I'll give you a couple seconds to write that down. I screwed that one up. I apologize. I'll erase it for the next two. Alright, so I can fit these other two in. I'm going to erase this. Bada bing, bada boom. Let's continue. So we play tennis. What is that? Is it do or does for we? Should be thinking do. And so we flip it. We play tennis. There you go. Next one. Oh, appears to be the last one here, but this one was kind of a trick question. Actually, we'll do this one. I'll start off the sentence though. She started with what? So, what and then we have the vocabulary word means. Your subject here is, and I'll help you out with this one, vocabulary word. So word. Is the word an I, you, he, she, it, we, or they? You should be thinking that a word here would mean it. So is it do or it does? You should be thinking that it's an it does. And we flip it here for a question, so it becomes what does the vocabulary word is it means or mean? You should write mean. And there you have it. What does the vocabulary word mean?
All right, now that we've seen a few examples, let's review. Remember, to start any question in the present tense, you need do or does. That is our helping verb to make a question. And remember, we flip. So the first thing you see is do or does. After, you have I, you, he, she, it, we, or they. And then finally, that last verb and finish your question. That's how we make questions in the present tense. Thanks for watching. Check out more videos with Conley's Cool ESL.